and welcome back to another one, you guys. If you are new to the channel, my name is Andrew with Younger Nissan in Frederick, Maryland. For more information on our inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So today we are in the brand new 2025 Versa because you get 2 years or 24,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. That is definitely nice. LED headlights now come standard for 2025 as well, and this very well may be the most inexpensive car in America right now. So ultimately in this video we will be testing out and going over everything about this one. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so as you can imagine, there are a few different trim levels for the 2025 Versa. You're gonna have the S with the 5-speed manual starting at $17,190, SCVT for $18,990, SV, which is the one we are in today, starting at $20,490, and lastly the SR, that one is gonna go for $21,190. But so regardless of the trim level that you go with, the power plant on the Versa is going to be the same. Powering the little beast is a 1.6 liter naturally aspirated inline 4-cylinder, putting out 122 horsepower at 6,300 RPM, 114 pound-feet of torque, coming in at 4,000 RPM. That power is going to be sent to the front wheels through your choice of either a 5-speed manual, which by the way is available on the S trim level only, or a continuously variable transmission. 0 to 60 time for this one approximately 9.5 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 27 in the city, 35 on the highway from the manual, 32 city, 40 then on the highway for the CVT, either way taking regular unleaded fuel. But so that before we do any kind of fun acceleration test here in the Versa, I did want to mention to you guys the drive mode. It is a sport driving mode. It is a horizontal button, kind of horizontal line button that is hidden on the shifter itself, and you would never know it is there unless you're driving a Versa perhaps. But anyways, that's going to adjust things like the shift points and the throttle response. And now that I got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put the acceleration here to the test, and let's see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. All right, here's our straightaway in 3, 2, 1, go. It's loud. There was an instant acceleration on the initial get up and go there. I liked that because, you know, it's not turbocharged, so you're not going to have any of that delay, but it's not the quickest thing in the world. But it's one of those things where you get used to the more you drive a vehicle. It's kind of like driving a Mitsubishi Mirage or the visibility in a Camaro or a 370Z. It's just something that you get used to, so it'll be fine. But yeah, not the quickest thing in the world. But to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So up front you will find 10-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 8-inch rear drum brakes. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, that comes in at 124 feet, which is pretty much par for the course. As far as braking feel goes, it's fine. It's not a firm braking feel. It's not a soft braking feel really either, though. It's probably exactly what you would expect the braking feel to be like in the Nissan Versa, so I'll just leave it at that. As far as suspension and handling goes, up front you're going to get an independent strut type front suspension. In the back, torsion beam rear axle, front stabilizer bar as well. As far as ride quality goes, in my short little test drive here today, it's actually been perfectly fine. Now, typically in compact cars and subcompact cars, you do tend to feel a little bit more of the road, but in my short drive, I haven't had any issues. I think it feels perfectly fine for me. As far as steering feel goes, it's on the looser side of things. Maybe not as loose as like a Toyota Corolla, but is definitely on the looser side. But again, to be expected in a vehicle like this. Touching on cabin noise, we're going 50 miles per hour right now, so this will be the perfect test. I will say it is windy as stink today, so there is a little bit of wind noise coming into the cabin, but again, nothing that would personally bother me. And touching our rear visibility, looking out my rear view mirror there, I can see perfectly fine. Really, you have a wonderful view out the back, so in terms of visibility, definitely should not have any issues there. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2025 Nissan Versa. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2025 Nissan Versa, finished in gray sky pearl, in case you were curious of our exact exterior color name that we have with us here in this one. But as always, let's go ahead and start with where the Versa is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the number 3, indicating that the Versa is built and assembled in Mexico, in case you were curious. But chrome V motion front grille will come standard on the S and SV trim levels. You're going to get a dark chrome V motion front grille if you were to go with that SR. And like I said at the beginning of the video, you are looking at full LED headlights that now come standard on every single trim level across the board, even the S trim that did not used to be last year. So that is pretty darn cool. And of course the headlights, they are automatic as well, so when it starts to get dark at night, headlights will turn on automatically for you there, so you gotta love that. And if you were to go with the SR trim level, you're going to get some SR badging found in the front grille then as well. But good looking front end in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments, but that pretty much rounds out the front end. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of the Versa, black window surrounds will come standard. You got a floating roof line towards the back there. You guys can see that as well. Power adjustable side mirrors coming standard. They're going to have a matte black finish with the S trim, gloss black finish with the SR, and then body colored finish for the SV, like you guys are looking at right now, of course. Side mirrors will be heated with that SR trim level though as well. Then taking a look at the door handles, they are actually going to differ between the trim levels. I just wanted to mention that. So black door handles are going to come on the S, but then body colored door handles for the SV and SR trims. Then making our way down to the wheel configurations, 15-inch steel wheels with covers for that S trim level, 16-inch aluminum alloys for the SV, and then 17-inch aluminum alloys for the SR. But that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back of the Versa, all the way to the top, you will find a body colored shark fin antenna. If you wanted a rear spoiler, go with the SR trim. That is how you're going to go ahead and get that. You do have a nice body colored rear diffuser at the very bottom portion of that rear bumper. That looks good as well. No LED taillights, unfortunately. Still, you got the LEDs up front though, so it's a step in the right direction, but there is a single exhaust outlet. It is tucked away underneath on the passenger side there. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright, so now since we are around to the back of the Versa here, when it comes to opening that rear trunk, there is a button on the key fob, so that's probably what I would use, but there is also a button kind of on the driver's side floor here as well. But once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 14.7 cubic feet. That is for the S trim level, by the way. If you go with the SV or SR, it's going to be bumped up slightly to 15 cubic feet even. Either way, there is a 60-40 split for the SV and SR trims, meaning the rear seats are going to fold down with those, adding a good bit of extra space then if you needed it. There's cargo lighting back there, of course. There's grocery bag hooks available. We have those, so that is pretty darn neat. I always like those back there. And then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you will find a spare tire and a good bit of in-floor storage surrounding that spare tire then as well. So then making our way up to the rear legroom, that is going to come in at 31 inches even. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the rear seats there. There is a single USB charging port coming standard. That's rare, even in the compact car segment. So that was pretty cool seeing that. No rear air vents, no rear center armrest. I didn't expect there to be in this one, but then making our way up to the front seats, manually adjustable cloth seating will come standard. Premium cloth for the SV trim level. And let me tell you guys, I love the two-tone theme here going on with the premium cloth. It's the black and the blue theme, and that blue is carried on throughout this one. We'll get more into that later, but sport cloth for the SR trim. The seats are actually heated for the SR trim then as well. But like I said, I love the color combination, and in my short little test drive here today, I didn't have any issues with seat comfort. So let's go ahead and take a look at the steering wheel now. It is tilt and telescoping. It's manually adjustable, of course. It's going to be leather wrapped for the SR trim level only, but all trim levels are going to get a flat bottom to it. So that's a pretty cool look. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the startup. It's a pretty heavy duty key actually. You got your Nissan logo all the way to the top, lock, unlock, and the button to pop the trunk there, of course. It's going to be a remote start for the SR, and then a keyless entry with a push button start for that SR trim level as well, and that is optional on the SV that we have with us here today. So we have that option, so that's pretty cool. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just in front of the shifter. And so now let's go ahead and check out the gauges here. You got kind of a digital setup on the left-hand side. Speedometer is going to be to your right, but on the digital setup, you have the tachometer. You have how many miles you have left until you hit empty, outside temperature, time of the day, it's stuff like that. So pretty much everything you could possibly want up there. So I think the gauges look fine. I didn't have any issues with those. But now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality. You're going to find automatic climate control for the SR trim level. So meaning you set the temperature, it's going to automatically hit that for you. Wireless phone charger for the SV and SR trims. That's actually located just in front of the shifter there. But just surrounding the shifter, you have a nice gloss black finish, which I personally am a fan of. Just behind that, you have your dual cup holder. holders, and with the center armrest, it's an okay amount of storage for the size of the vehicle, honestly. And you got a USB charging port in there as well. And I like the cool carbon fiber-ish look surrounding the power window buttons. It's not real carbon fiber, but it looks good. Chrome door handle, they could have left that just a matte black, but they kind of gave it a more high-end finish, so I like that as well. But my favorite part that really makes this thing stand out is this bright blue dash trim surrounding the infotainment screen and just to the left of the gauges here. I think that personally looks absolutely amazing, so I'm a huge fan of that. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the infotainment screen here. A 7-inch color touchscreen display for the S and SV trim levels. 8-inch color touchscreen display, however, with the SR trim. Either way, you get Bluetooth and audio streaming, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay for the SV and SR trim levels. It is optional on the S, just doesn't come standard on that one. But of course, you can check out your radio information up there as well. So when it comes to the sound systems, there are 2 of them. You're gonna find 4 speakers for the S and SV trim levels, and then a 6-speaker sound system for that SR trim. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. Let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. It's okay. It sounds like a 6-speaker sound system. I'll just leave it at that, or a 4-speaker sound system, I should say, is what we have. But it's not the best sound system out there. It's a really good podcast sound system, I will say that. But last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put the Versa in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board. Not the highest quality rear view camera, but it does get the job done, which is always going to lead us into safety. And so front side curtain airbags do come standard. You actually also have driver and passenger knee airbags as well. It doesn't always come standard out there. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard, forward collision warning, autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian detection, lane departure warning, high beam assist. You gotta love that. So if you have your high beams on at night and the sense of the vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's gonna automatically dim them back to low beams. Then when that vehicle is gone, it's gonna automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you there. So I always am a big fan of that. And you also get reverse automatic braking then as well. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the Versa, it is extremely affordable, and that's a heck of a start right there. You gotta love that in today's economy. Great fuel economy, by the way, as well. Big fan of that. Interior quality is really good for the price. I'll put it that way. I love the blue accents, especially on the dash here. I think that looks absolutely amazing. And I like the chrome door handle and the gloss black finishes surrounding the shifter and the carbon fiber look. So it is decent for the price. I'll just put it that way. And so, but that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow Younger Nissan somewhere on the screen there. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews and all of our fun YouTube shorts we put on our channel as well. We do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and we will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.